Like, you should not listen to us. It is not recommended.
Right. Watch for entertainment purposes solely, like not for
Yes,
actual
there you go.
information.
Yes, and that goes for those of you who have been watching faithfully from episode to episode.
And we
as well.
appreciate every single one of you. Welcome to Disparate Worlds, where an irresistible force meets an immovable object. I'm Mox, and this is Sechari, and we're comparing and contrasting the worlds of Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen, and Ashes of Creation.
Yes, indeed. Hello, friends. Good to have you with us. Welcome to episode 12. Now, with extra psychedelic Mox colors.
Ooh, how's my color?
Yeah, just to acknowledge, I think the last 3 episodes, Mox, we had some interesting color jumps
Yes.
on your side of the aisle over there.
Well, one of them was from a lurker in my house, but I've since banished him off to the dungeon, so
Yes.
he shall not walk through the living room again.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's lighting, right?
Yeah.
And cameras changing or focus and all kinds of white balance and all kinds of weird things.
Exactly.
So we're working on it. I just thought I'd throw that out there before somebody comments.
Yes.
Maybe we can hit a few off at the pass. What do you say?
Well, the people on Reddit, they're always willing to throw in their helpful comments.
You guys look stupid. Like, we know.
Well,
like,
exactly. No duh.
Like, we haven't claimed to be anything else.
Right.
Like, you should not listen to us. It is not recommended.
Right. Watch for entertainment purposes solely, like not for
Yes,
actual
there you go.
information.
Yes, and that goes for those of you who have been watching faithfully from episode to episode.
And we
as well.
appreciate every single one of you.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so this episode we are talking about quote-unquote remonetization, which is a big word that basically just means the strategies that game companies use to squeeze the neck of the golden goose and see if they can pop another egg or two out of it. The initial game purchase that this player base made and the monthly sub, but then what else can they get, right?
Oh, I thought it was remonetization, like we were talking about French Impressionists.
Okay, Monet, sure, why not? It all just basically means the same. It means people have money and I don't.
Right.
Another good word that people use is microtransactions, right?
Right.
That's a nice good one as well.
Mm-hmm.
We thought plundering was probably a very apt word, so we used that in our title. But essentially what we're talking about is the whole notion of cash shops.
Right.
And we're going to take a second, right, kind of before we start in that with this episode, we're going to touch on Pantheon's funding discussion. Apparently there's been some hubbub about it.
Can't we just all get along?
Yeah, who knows? No, we can't. This is the internet.
Right.
It's designed to be terrible. So we will get into it. Be patient with us, please. First, the news.
With Pantheon news, as was mentioned, they have secured a 7-figure investment. Now, we all know that could be anywhere from $1 million to just under $10 million, but I think the prevailing guess out there is somewhere in the low millions, probably maybe 3-4 million. And it's gonna basically what they said, it's gonna accomplish their 2021 goals and beyond. It will fund continued development. It's going to support the alpha signups, which have exceeded 8,000, strengthening the back-end systems, and all this has also brought on Chris Cronenthal as a new board member. Now,
Right.
Sechari, you live in the IT world. Well, you don't live in it, you work in it. So
Yes.
you mentioned some things to me regarding like back-end systems on an enterprise level and like what that really means.
On an enterprise level, I was not aware that we had suddenly started talking about Star Trek.
We had, yes. Scotty, tell me all about the back-end systems.
All right, then. I'll beam you up. Some information. So,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I am in the IT world. I work with a development team. For the most part, we're always talking about servers and switches and routers and networking gear and all of those things. This is a very minor point, and I'm gonna make it fast. If you are talking about strengthening quote unquote back-end systems, it's not meaningful. Like you know, some of those big switches that you put in a data center, those are very expensive pieces of machinery, right? So if you're strengthening the systems that will route and you know, load balance and all that, the internet traffic coming in, you know, and routing it to servers and servers to support all that stuff, 7 figures of investment is not that much money.
Right. It's not going to go as far as what you think it would. It's not like you're buying a PC for your house.
Yeah. I know that's neither here nor there, but we thought, you know, we throw it out, so there it is.
It is. All right. In addition, the January 2021 producers letter came out, and it was mentioned in there that by Ben that this is not full funding, and this is kind of, we'll have a quick discussion when we're done, you know, going over the news. About what fully funded means and what it meant in the past and such, but that's, you know, that was in the newsletter that they mentioned that, you know, hey, you know, we have a ways to go as far as finances are concerned, and that's okay. Also in that newsletter, they mentioned the Co-Carnage live stream, which we covered in our last episode. If you've not seen that, please hop on over there and see it. Sechari, if you can put like a card like up there or there, whichever, like that refers to that, that'd be great.
I'll put it directly above your head. How about that?
Yeah, actually, can you put it like right on my forehead? All right, so they also mentioned that the lobby hub in the evaluators build will allow you to kind of pick your level and kind of like, you know, go in there and explore the world a little bit. You know, you could go up to level 5 and then hop in and such, so that's kind of cool. In addition, a couple of hires, QA specialist Mark Fusoya Maraglino.
Good luck saying these things. I'm so glad I put these in the notes and made you have to say them.
Dude, I'm Italian. Maraglino is nothing.
All right, say this next one.
All right, that's fine. Human Resources Manager Jenna Blue-Eyed Gator Rochelle was also hired, which to me, you're hiring an HR person, which means you're gearing up for probably more hires and covering all the legalities of if they're hiring people in other states and things of that nature. So that bodes well for development as well.
And actually, she's a rehire, by the way. They had her, and mentions that she was with them at one stage and she's back, so that's good. Yeah, I fully agree.
And then lastly, in news of the Pantheon world, Joppa hopped into our comments and on the last video and commented that you know, comparative tooltips are indeed coming to Pantheon. They just aren't in there yet. So we had said last week that they had said no, but he clarified and said absolutely yes, they are coming. And so we apologize for the misinformation, but appreciate that Joppa took the time to, number one, watch one of these videos, and then number 2 to make sure that we are giving you know, good information.
So yeah, that is not news in the Pantheon world, but it's news for us because we feel special every time Joppa says anything. We know that he's been here. That's very cool.
Even
so
if he says this video is a piece of crap, like that's a good thing too.
Like we'll totally pin it. Push out whoever won Comquest. That's the winner for this week. Joppa's the winner. He said something for our show. Made us feel special. So. Yeah, I mean, links again for all of these items below. We'll have them wherever possible. That will be in the description, so do check it out. Real quick, Ashes. The only real thing that's been on the Ashes radar, they've had some things going on, but none of them have been really all that notable, I think. Until today's live stream. We're recording this on Friday, January the 29th, and at 11 a.m. today, they did their live stream. So that we will link as well. Do check that out. And we are going to, if there's newsworthy stuff that we want to talk about it, keep your eyes open. We will make sure to have an episode out before the end of the week, I imagine. So that's the plan.
There was one other thing that I wanted to mention in the Ashes world, and our deepest condolences go out to Stephen Sharif on the loss of his pet. His dog passed away last week, I think it was. So, Stephen, sorry to hear that, and you know, I know how difficult it is to lose a pet.
Absolutely.
So, as we mentioned before, Pantheon secured a 7-figure investment. And with this came like kind of bubbling to the surface like goo or muck in a swamp was this people like lashing out about, oh, I thought the game was fully funded, blah blah blah. There was like fighting and wailing and gnashing of teeth about all this. And it really comes down to that it was a rumor or a misquote that Pantheon was fully funded. We've said it on here because we heard it somewhere else that they're fully funded. It's just a matter of when will it happen. And
it's those guys' fault. It's not us.
Well, again, that it is our fault in that we probably should have investigated that, and we did not. We relied on secondhand information. So,
well, yeah. I mean, that's the question, though, is like, what choice do you have, right? You find it anywhere you can.
Right.
And if the other content creators are saying it, usually, you kind of rely on that.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me, that just the rumor mill that gets started and news goes around,
right.
and it's not true.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's out. Anyway,
exactly.
go ahead.
So Basgrim stepped in and said, look, I bear some of the fault for this. That I misquoted something and took it out of context, and it was a poorly worded comment from Facebook from the Pantheon account, and he made a whole video about it, and it was a large video, but he actually took that video down because it contained some misinformation in it.
Right.
And basically he just said, look, they're not fully funded. The meaning of the statement was basically that should money continue to come in at the rate in which it's currently coming in, then we'll be fine. The game will come out. But if all of a sudden the backers just all of a sudden dried up and people stopped giving, signing up, then they're going to struggle. So that's why they always have been actively seeking to secure this stuff. And Ben has made no secret of it. He said, we're looking for more funding. Like, he said that on multiple occasions. So, it's ultimately, it's not a big deal. People made a much bigger deal about it than they did. I applaud Basgrim. I applaud Nathan Napalm for stepping up and saying, look, we share some of the blame in this, but it's here's the real information. Let's all move forward. It's not a big deal.
Correcting the misinformation is a thing, right? We share, somebody says it, someone else goes, oh, you're a reliable source. Here's information I've heard, right? And the word gets around, and we show up, and we're a bunch of idiots that'll last on the scene, right? Now decide to start a show. And then we repeat it too. So even we have a hand in handing on that, we've said it too. So, but I think, and I'm glad, I think that there is quite an impetus. There's a necessity for a game's community team to be out, squashing misinformation wherever they can find it. Because I think in this case, this game is fully funded, we're good to go. We'll just wait, right?
Yeah.
If they don't have the funding they need, it's not going to be so fast. But at least they've got the funding they need to carry this to completion.
Right.
That's not true. Fund more,
right?
Right. We need to get some more funding out there. So absolutely, I'm glad to have good information in this regard. So we thought we'd make our statement,
right,
and put that out there as well. Okay. Definitely, thank you guys for bearing with us in that. We just wanted to make sure that we corrected things that we had said formally, just like everybody else is doing.
Right.
This week's episode: cash shops, my friend. "Quote unquote" remonetization. And all of the things that game companies do to try to ensure that they are funding themselves, hopefully for further development.
Right.
That's the idea. But yeah, absolutely. We want them to have the money they need to get the games out there. So some helpful links that if you care to chase more of this down, in looking, there were some things that we came across that we thought were worth passing on to you.
Right.
I'm going to point out a couple from Basgrim. One of them, they're both recent videos, by the way. One of them was called, "Does Cosmetic Gear Belong in Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen?"
Yeah, okay. Excellent video. He did knock that
very
one out
good.
of the park.
Actually, both of these are very good videos, I thought. But yeah, I mean, it's just very good. His videos are fantastic. The second one is, will Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen have a cash shop? Right. So he just tackled the question.
Right.
Very good. And we're going to get into some of that too. Some of that has informed how we're thinking about some things as well. He's actually got a really good idea that we're going to talk about as well. On the Ashes side, we wanted to talk about the Dungeon Crawler Network. This is ages ago. This is from 2018. The Dungeon Crawler Network has a podcast that or a vlog, I guess, a video podcast called From the Ashes. Their episode 33 was called Avoiding Cash Shop Pitfalls. So we will link that. Be sure to check that out. It's a longer, probably an hour-long discussion. And then the Big Cheek Giant put one out fairly recently, as early as September, latest September of last year. Real talk on shop and in-game cosmetics. Now that one is very good because he actually, I think, reached out to a couple, 3 content creators and got their statements on it and actually featured those in that video. So I think you kind of get the idea of what everyone's looking at or thinking at least, by checking that one out. So definitely do check those out.
I want to comment that is a great channel name, the Big Cheek Giant. That's just awesome.
Yes, I actually really enjoy watching his stuff too. He's just like so easygoing. It's just fantastic. So, all right. I wanted to start this discussion at least as if we're starting here 15 minutes into this thing. With a story I have from Star Wars Galaxies, there was a time, once upon a time, when I was a nub. I was a total Star Wars Galaxies noob, and I was playing, and there was a guy that kind of took me under his wing, was showing me around, and it was cool. And one day I looked and I was like, dude, I really like that backpack. You know, on his character, he had a backpack. It was the same capacity, you know, that I had. Nothing special that way. But it cosmetically looked really cool, and I liked it. And I told him I liked it. And he said, "Oh, this is a
Reward?
A reward. Thank you, for a quest that I ran." And I said, "Ooh, I like that idea. Can I go run that quest? Can you take me on it?" "Absolutely. We need a couple other people." So we pulled in a couple other people and ran that quest together. And I got the backpack too.
Hey.
Now that is cool. Yes. And to me, that is the perfect idea as to what that kind of cosmetic item kind of thing should be, right? It is used as an incentive to go out there to incentivize the content. I ran that quest because I liked the way that thing looked. And when I learned that you could get it as a result of a quest, that incentivized me to go do it. So,
did you then pay it forward and help others to then do that?
Yes. I don't remember. In all honesty, this was in 19. Oh, no, this was.
But you're the type of person that probably would have if somebody asked you. You know, hey, I need help with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I was a noob, so I mean, what do? You just do things that you have to do. Then later on, I was in a community, and if people needed things, so. Yeah. But I mean, that's the idea, right? That's using cosmetic items in the game, things that make your character look cool, to incentivize going and running the content, and we like that. I think everybody likes that.
Yeah.
Now, bringing a story like that forward all these years into what are going to be new MMOs, we have Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen, we have Ashes of Creation. On Pantheon's side, they've said and we have to stress that, if there is a cash shop, it's going to be cosmetic only.
Right.
Ashes of Creation have said we're going to have a cash shop. In fact, they have a cash shop now, and the game hasn't even launched, right? There is a cosmetic only. You can go buy looks, and we don't even know how these things look on a player model. But I've bought some, right? I've been been paying in.
Right.
So those are out there, right? So both games are kind of exploring the idea. You know, I know for Ashes definitely going to have it. We don't know about Pantheon just yet, but we will learn, I imagine, at some point. So yeah. And then we have that going on, and then we have this concept on the other side called item prestige.
Right.
Now let me throw you the ball. Tell me define that for me, and you know, if I mention that, what comes to mind for you?
Okay, so the biggest thing comes to mind for me was something that in Star Wars: The Old Republic, which would be Wings of the Architect, which was a very difficult mount, even though it was like on your back. That was you got from doing a very high-end raid, and it was fantastic to look at, and it was just amazing. And it you saw people with it, you were just like, wow, where'd you get that? And eventually word got around, but initially it was like, whoa, that's really cool. So it was one of those, very elite type of thing to get, and you had to run this difficult raid. So obviously the top end raiding guilds, eventually, people, like many of their members had it. They like, once all their members had it, then they were offering the service of, come along with us and we'll get it for you, but you have to pay for it. So it was a way for them to raise some in-game money, some credits,
and there was never a reskin anywhere else. It was what it was. It was incredibly unique, and there was one way to get it.
Right, and
that was it.
That was it. Now that's an instance where SWTOR took an item that had prestige, and they did it right. It was a way to get it through the game, and it was fantastic. They had some missteps though in regards to their cash shop and items. There was a PvP reward one season, because they had seasons of ranked PvP, and there was a Rancor mount that you could get. So you could you had somebody just riding around on top of Rancor. And
Talk about psychedelic colors.
Right, it was really
that
cool.
one was shiny.
It was black though. It actually was really neat. And it was great. But there was only one way to get it. You had to do ranked PvP, which is and then like the way ranked PvP works is if you're winning, you're getting points. If you're losing, you lose points. So you had to keep winning to stay at the top, like percentage.
Right, it's a ladder thing. Yeah.
Okay. Like I forget how long it was, but it may have been like a year after that came out. They reskinned it and had it for sale as part, not like it was like in one of the packs, one of the loot crates that you could
so there's an
randomly
RNG.
get. Right. But it ultimately, like once people had them, they're showing up on the auction house, so you could just go buy one for a few million credits. So it diminished the accomplishment, even though they had a unique skin. The PvP people, it diminished their accomplishment. So bad SWTOR. They did good with the Wings Arc. They good SWTOR. Exactly, bad SWTOR. So you can do this stuff right, or you can do it wrong, or you can do it both really within the same game. And so you have to be very careful if you're gonna offer something that is supposed to be prestigious, that you maintain that prestige and don't offer it down the road for somebody to just shell out $20 to be able to get.
Yes. # do not reskin.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's what that means.
Yeah. I mean, if you have common stuff and you want to have like in green and red and black and orange and that's fine. But if you're talking about prestigious stuff, don't reskin it. Don't offer it a different way. Keep that prestige and that value to those people that earned it, because they paid their money those months to rank up their PvP, and then you basically said that was not important.
Right. And they spend it. I mean, it's not just paying the money, right? It's the time.
Right.
It's the effort. It's the learning to outshine other people, right? It's getting world first. Whatever it is that you apply that to, somebody has worked hard for that.
Right.
And anything that diminishes that payoff, that windfall that they get from that, I consider it an investment. You invest your time, and not a financial investment, right? But if you're going to work that hard and get that reward, don't diminish the value of that reward. It needs to stay unique, and it needs to draw people's eye. I think they deserve that. So
exactly.
Yeah. So there is what I like to call the path to yes. Now, poor Mox has been beaten over the head with this before, especially in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
So this is something that it's a life lesson I learned, and I'd like to share it because I think it has some usefulness in this discussion. Somebody might say to me, hey, Sechari, what do you think about cash shops in MMOs? And I'm going to go, no, I hate them. Because I've been burned. I mean, I have. I could talk about SWTOR. I mean, we could talk about it all day long. Right? I've been burned by them. No, they diminish, item prestige and all this stuff. I could say, whatever. But if someone can say, well, okay, tell me enumerate your reasons. Well, I've got 5 reasons. This one, and here they are. Well, if someone can say, well, what if we did this? Would that mitigate item number 1? Well, okay. If we did this, would that mitigate item number 2? Can I do this to mitigate item number 3? If they can work their way through that list and come up with solutions that are going to mitigate my list of grievances, right? I have what I call the path to yes. If you can do all of that, I may be able to be comfortable with saying something. Now, I'm not outright for cash shops, but I have thought this through because this is not a new discussion in MMOs, right? This is in all games, actually, this has been going on. But I've come to, at least thinking through MMOs, what I think is the deal here. My path to yes, for if you're going to have a cash shop, there's 3 things I need from you. Number 1, it does not undermine crafting. Okay? Don't offer things in the cash shop that just destroy your crafting community. I think you need to offer things in your crafting community that you do not offer in your cash shop, and they need to be just as cool.
Right.
Okay? Don't kill your crafting community. Number 2, it does not undermine content incentivization, right? So I like the backpack. I went to go do the quest because I like the backpack.
Right.
If you use some of those cool cosmetics to incentivize people running your raids, running your dungeons, because if they do that and that's out there, but don't have cooler stuff on the cash shop that makes that moot to where those things are ugly in comparison, because you will disincentivize me running the content. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then number 3, I'm preaching, aren't I?
That's all right.
Do not dang it! Do not diminish item prestige.
Okay.
Okay, and we've already mentioned that, right? Like
Right.
if there's this raid that you go do, and there's this mount or there's this suit of armor or something that you get out of it that is unique and amazing, it doesn't diminish that either.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Those are my 3 things. Now, if you can say, yeah, I mean, we're gonna have a cash shop out there, and it's gonna have some cosmetic items, no pay to win, right? Just cosmetic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a minor percentage of what all is out there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not going to draw focus away from crafting. Right? And crafting doesn't draw focus away from it, and crafting also doesn't draw focus away from the stuff that you can get by going out there to run content.
Right.
And you know, every one of those separate realms does not impede on the other, right?
Yeah.
And I can only get this cool item by doing that, and I can only get this cool item by doing that.
Right.
I think I can be okay.
Yeah.
With a cash shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my path to yes.
Okay. I think that's reasonable.
It's reasonable. So I'm so glad that you agree with me.
I do. I there's nothing there that you said that I could argue with. You know, you have to balance all of those 3 ways to get gear. Because if you think about it, those are the 3
Yes.
ways you get gear. Potentially, you're either going to get it from somebody making it for you, you're going to get it from a drop from a quest or a mob, or you're going to get it from a cash shop. Like that's your
Yes.
3 avenues. So you
Yes.
have to keep them. If you're going to have all 3, you have to keep them in balance, so that your coolest stuff isn't
Yes.
the stuff that you buy. There
And
has to be
I
some
think-
cool stuff in each of the other areas.
Yes, and the cosmetics, I think, and you can sanity check me on this. People do stuff more for the cosmetics than they do for the item rating.
There is
power
a
of the gear.
percentage of people that will do stuff for that,
Maybe.
especially if there's some sort of transmogrification or appearance
Yes.
settings or whatever, where it doesn't matter what you're
Yes.
wearing, it looks
You
a
can
different
take the
way.
best of both, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Yeah. We in SWTOR we call that Space Barbie. So
Yes.
you're
Space-
dressing up
space Barbie.
dressing up your avatar to look the way you want it to look, even if they're supposed to be
Yeah.
wearing robes or whatever. You know, if you want them to be wearing clothes,
And,
let's say.
that's how you have a tank instead of plate armor. They're wearing leather, right?
Right,
Or
exactly.
cloth.
Yeah. So,
It's your character. Dress it how you want to, I guess. I don't know.
Exactly.
So yeah. I mean, to me, yeah, there is a path to yes. I am prepared to be okay with this, but I've just got some things that I think I need to some boxes to check first.
Yeah.
So
Good.
But cash shops, and I think the reason that we're dealing with so much with cash shops is because that's the latest, greatest industry trick. Right? That's
Right.
what everybody's doing, and so everybody's like, okay, we've been burned by all these other games in the industry that are doing this. We're hoping that you're not going to do this because we want a break from that.
Right.
I think there is a right way to do a cash shop.
Yeah.
Okay? But there's also other ways out there that you can make extra money, because that's really what we're doing here.
Right.
Is quote unquote, and I don't think Mox likes the term, but remonetizing.
Yes.
Right? You are squeezing the neck of the golden goose so that it gives you more eggs.
Right. So
Right.
we're looking at ways to increase revenue.
Increase revenue.
These
Yeah.
are businesses. They're companies. They have large overheads. They have many people to employ. So they need to make money. They need to satisfy. Some of them. Well, actually, I think both of these are private companies, but they still have investors that they need to make happy.
Right.
Because if it comes down the road that they want to do an expansion, they're going to might need a large cash infusion again from another investor. And they're going to want to
Yes.
see what kind of return did I get on the first investment I made. So what am I going to? So you have other options. So one of the things, this was a big miss in the SWTOR world, was is swag. Like if you can, get the rights to sell the swag. Like let's say
If you
t-shirts.
own the IP,
right?
and for both of these games you do,
Right. T-shirts, mugs, mouse pads, any of that stuff, can work. And it's free it's like not free advertising, but you pay a little bit for it, and then we pay to advertise your product. Like,
Yes.
it's a win-win
Yes.
for you.
Now I've got to be fair. Ashes has done this before.
Mhm.
In fact, if you look at that 2018 video, I think the discussion with the Dungeon Crawler Network, which we'll link, of course. I've mentioned it in our resources. They were showing off the items in 2018 that were swag items, right?
Right.
So they have done this. I don't know why they stopped. I'm new to the game in Ashes of Creation. Why can't I get one?
Right.
Would you please reopen that shop, right?
Yeah.
By the way, update the logos because the new things are really cool. Right?
Right.
So, I mean, hey, those vintage older logos, why not? So those are pretty cool too. But, but yeah, sell your swag. Yeah, I just think it's free. It's free advertising, even if your company doesn't make that much profit, really.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you make 25 cents on a shirt that's $25.
There's no way they're just making 25 cents. Those shirts cost them like $2 to make.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, well, whatever it is. I'm saying, like, even if you do, like, let's talk about the principle of the matter, right?
Yeah.
If you're making next to nothing, it's still worth getting out there because you're getting the name of your game out there.
Right.
That's the important part, right? It's free advertising.
Right.
So absolutely, sell the swag. I can't stress this one enough.
Exactly. So, hey, Sechari, guess how much I paid to play EverQuest 21 years ago per month?
I don't know. I don't want to be your Comquest winner. Because I know half of these are trick questions.
It's not a trick question. Just take a stab. Like, what do you think?
How much are you talking about per month?
The monthly sub, yeah.
Okay, let's see. Star Wars Galaxies, which I was playing in 2004, I was paying $50 a month for.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that neighborhood?
Yeah, same thing. So
same thing.
And
this was in 99?
Yeah, and you could play World of Warcraft for $15 a month right now, and you could probably play
here
ESO.
In 2021
You can play ESO for $15 a month. You can play Final Fantasy for $15 a month.
Yeah.
Like, it's been 20 years. Is it time to bump that up? Now, that's an unpopular thing to say, I know.
Yes.
Probably. But is it time to have some sort of market adjustment for that?
Yeah, well, okay. Everywhere else in investments, in financial whatever, we recognize that inflation is a thing.
Right.
Why haven't we here? Why are we still charging $15? Now, I'm not arguing that we should turn this up, by the way. Like, keep it at $15. I mean, I do think if you do, okay, let's make it $30. I think you start to put some pressure on some people.
Right. Yeah.
The kid out there mowing your lawns, so that he can play this game and like get a sub to the game. It's harder on him for sure, right?
Right.
Or you could roll your eyes at that and say that he deserves to be out there. He needs to. Good for those kids. Back in my day, we were paying $15 for a sub for this game.
Right, and
Hold
you
on a
could
moment.
make the argument that, if you're a family of three, like, you got mom and dad and the kid are all playing the game, and you're $30, then they're paying $100 a month, so that might disincent them to be playing it.
Yes.
So
yes.
$15 might be that point at which, okay, 1 is cheap, 2 is okay, 3,
Right.
you're starting to get expensive if it's much more than $15 a month.
Yeah. But it's an option. I think that's why we have it listed, right? I mean, consider sub prices, right? Now, I do want to get to Basgrim's idea before we close this episode out because it's important.
Right.
He had this idea that goes, hey, what if we have 2 tiers of subs, right? You have your average $15 a month, and for that, you get access to servers that have cash shops.
Mm-hmm.
And you have an optional ability to opt in and buy that stuff and give some more money that way, right? Reward them for coming up with cool ideas for cosmetics that way. Or you can pay, let's say $30 sub, right? Let's double it.
Mm-hmm.
And have access to all of that, plus other servers that do not have a cash shop. And if you want to play without a cash shop, and I think that's a brilliant idea because, as this is ironic, let me make sure I get this right. If there's a market for something, you can make money off of it, right? If there's demand for something.
Mm-hmm.
And there's demand for no cash shop. So you can make money off of not having a cash shop.
Right.
Okay, that sounds kind of loop-de-loop, right? To me, it's like, okay, it's a little ironic that you can actually make money off of not having a way to make money.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway.
We talked about that back with SWTOR too, like because fleet chat was so toxic and such. We were basically lobbying for a server where there would be somebody to monitor chat. Yeah. Like, and you'd pay a little more for it. Like that just seemed to make sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
I just think that's it's an incredible idea.
Yeah.
Because you have that out there. Now, it's a little bit more work to put that in place, right?
Right.
But you have that out there. you may be onto something new. It may be so unpopular for there to be cash shops that there's just this amazing, it doubles your monthly revenue, right? Because you can count on your monthly subs. That's generally more reliable income than the chance of somebody buying stuff. I mean, I think when you're talking about large numbers, it tends to stabilize. Right. You can kind of expect
you
what
release
you're
new stuff, you have a big jump, and then it comes back down. Next week.
But it's a lot more. There's a lot more like a sustained income, right? Like more dependable sustained income if you're talking about subs.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is that idea something that's worth? Those of you who are watching, comment on that, because I want to know what you think. Because that to me was just a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
So the conversation about cash shops, about making more money, about strategies, clever things that these game companies come up with to continue to make more money over and above the initial game purchase and the regular monthly sub. This is a long-term conversation, and I guarantee this is not the only time we're going to be talking about this. It's going to come up in the future.
Yep.
It's fun to have touched on it once, especially now that it's kind of in the news and everyone is talking about it. So, there you go. Mox, let me throw the ball to you. How about some Comquest?
Yeah, so in episode 9, I challenged you guys to figure out how many parties I've killed in my decades of running various D&D games. And the honorable mention, because he's the only one that answered, goes to Archangel223. He said 100. I don't think I've run 100 D&D games.
You are a killer. You are a party killer, sir. You just kill parties.
I am not. I've
so
only ever
ruthlessly.
killed
100 is totally
one
reasonable.
Party. One single party.
Guess whose party he killed?
Wherever he is, I don't know. I forget which way to point for him. But they poked a green dragon when they shouldn't have. That was their fault. Like I take no responsibility for that. They poked it. Never poke a sleeping dragon.
He just looked so pokeable. Oh, hold on, you're angry? We were very surprised.
Shocked. Right.
So yes, we picked a fight with a green dragon.
It was very traumatic for me as a DM to do that, so I apologize. Publicly apologize to you.
Okay.
All right, so this week's Comquest. What is the highest amount you have ever spent in a cash shop in 1 month? The most egregious answer will win some kind of prize, I guess, and get pinned. Be honest. Hey, if you blew your rent 1 month, let us know. We will commiserate with you.
Yeah, the more shameful. Yes, the more outrageous, the more embarrassing it is, the better. We want to hear the dirt on this one. So.
And if it gets up into the 4 figures, we may have you on to interview you. So
exactly. Yeah, like they will. A pin is just the start of the conversation we will have. So.
All right, so make sure you find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Disparate Worlds. On Twitter, we are at Disparate Worlds, and our website is disparateworlds.org. In addition, on our website and in the description below is a link to our Discord. Please, please, please join us there. We would love to discuss either of these games or both of them, or we'll discuss cash shops there. Whatever. We're happy to do it.
Yes, good times. Yes. Thank you guys for joining us for this terrible episode on cash shops. Probably the start of many. Definitely want to thank you for watching, for being with us. Do drop the comment. Do the whole like and subscribe thing. As always, that's very important. And that little notification bell, hit that as well. That is how you do not miss upcoming episodes. So definitely do all of those things. All of that said, take care of yourselves, friends. And remember always to be immovable in your principles and irresistible in your passion.